Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. Every time I try and say it, my tongue gets all twisted. We now have 1, 2, 3, and 4 restored windows. Down here it says, I apologize for the preponderance of constraints. This area is optional. You may proceed as soon as 4 windows are complete. So we have 4 completed windows. There's these areas around here, and then clearly after doing this puzzle, I believe, things will kind of open up ahead. But why not do what we have around here first? So this. Just a new shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. This shouldn't be a problem. Excuse you. Thank you so much to the commenter from episode 1 that reminded me that Q is the paint bucket. How I missed it in this list, I don't know, but that's very nice to have. Restoration progress 1 of 8 and 1 of 14 for a silver gilding. All right. On larger puzzles, guessing can get you into big trouble. Only color shapes that you know for sure. Right, well, what do we know for sure out of all of this? Because, okay, it's got to be this. That's got to be. So then that's got to be. Good. Oh my goodness. What kind of a shape is that? And where can I put them? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1. Can I flip it and do that? I think I can. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I think these are all valid versions of this shape. Lordy, I hope they are. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1. Which means this has got to be the 1, the 1, the 6. Where's the last piece? One, 1, 6. It would have to be here, wouldn't it? Oh no. Oh no, I could do this instead. 2, 4, 3. Q to finish. Just a big old tessellating jigsaw. All regions must be this shape, a straight line of 3. Okay, so with no guessing, we know that that must exist there, therefore that must exist there. Then we know that this can't exist here, so that must exist there. Therefore, that must be there, that must be there, that must be there, that must be there, that must be there. And those, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Not that. Well, do the ones that we know for sure first. Good. So we got lots working out over on this side. That's 4 of 8. Feels like we've done more than 4 of these puzzles, but they're just big, multi-layered things. a 3 and a zigzag. The zigzag can technically fit there. How do we do both of these? Does that have to be that? I think it does. So then that can be a zigzag. That can be a zigzag. That's a zigzag. And that's an L on the end. Any secret hiding at the bottom of the well? Nope, not even an empty well. Right, this can't be a plus shape, so that must be a 3. That can't be a 3, so it must be a plus shape. That can't be a 3, so that must be a plus shape. That must be a 2 by 2. Therefore, that must be a 2 by 2. That's a plus shape. Is that right? That can't be a 3. It can be a 3. Hold on. Yeah. Good. So we got these 4 up here in higher difficulties. I'll take this 3. That can't be a 5. So it must be that. Therefore, that's a 5. This can't be a 5. Therefore, it must be that. This can't be a 5, but it could be this, which looks most likely to me. Except now, how do we do this tile? This must be this. That must be that. That's that. That's the 5. Good. 7 of 8. Are all of these different art, or are they all these leaf patterns? They're slightly different. Wait, what else do we have around here? A 2 by 2 and a 3 by 3. Okay. Bottom right corner here. This must be a pair of 2 by 2s because if this was a 3 by 3, we can't fit anything in there. So that's a start. Same rule applies there. We can't do a 2 by 2 into the odd corner. We can't do the 2 by 2 into the odd corner. That must be a 2 by 2. And I can just see the rest of what exists there immediately. Restore the shape bank window. 8 of 8 and 8 of 14. Are these shape banks over here as well? Yes. Yes, they are. Right. Can't be... Excuse you. Can't be this, because then we can't do another one here because of that. Therefore, I think it has to be this, this. Now, I think we simply do that many times. Then we have to switch to vertical at the bottom just because of how many wide and tall the group is. No bother. What an ugly shape this is, but that's a simple place to start. Okay, not bad at all. Anything hiding around the edges of these? I've missed plainly hidden stuff before. Don't know when that might open up, or that one there. I guess when we get to the gold edge progress, there's one there as well. Right. 1, 2, 3, and a cross attached to it. Can't be that because this 2x2 region can't remain. So we can do a cross. We need a 5 long through the center. So look for those. And then it's that, and this. But again, I can't use this 2x2 if I do that. How do I fit shape into this corner? Like that. Then it's across. Comes out to 5. And gets a second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gets that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's such an awkward shape to work with. And Q. Okay. 11 of 14. There's these two here as well. Two by two has to go that way. Can't be this because that shape at the end doesn't work. Two by two and one slid over. 2 by 2 and 1 slid over. 2 by 2 and 1 slid over. And Q. 4 and offset 1s. Not bad. Right, there's the stuff up high there. We need one more. But we clearly have options up here. Nothing hiding around the back. There's one up high on top of that building as well. Right. 5, 4, 3, 4. 3. The first law of puzzling. Whenever you find a pair of cells that must be connected, join them together. So, for example, this must be attached to this. Now, it could be this or that, but these two must be touching. Which means this could be this, or it could be this. But these two must be touching. Where can we go from there? It's a great question. If we did 3 from here, that would go to 3. Those must be touching. These must be touching. These must be touching. Those must be touching. Those must be touch. No, those don't have to be touching. They could be a pair of 3s like that. And this could be a 2 by 2. That would be valid as well. At the bottom here, we can't do a 3 in this group of 4. But there's nothing to say we couldn't do this. Well, that stops our tracks, doesn't it? Going up here Means we can't do that. First law of puzzling. Whenever you find a pair of cells that must be connected, join them together. So this and this must be connected because that can't be a 3. And equally this and this must be connected because that can't be a 3. This and this can't be connected. So that must go like that at least. And that can be connected, but those must be connected. So I end up with these 3 sets of grouped pairs. So this must be connected to that, which must be connected to this, I think. Because I can't make a 2x2 out of this. So that must be that. That must be that. That must be that. Therefore, those must be touching and those must be touching, but they don't necessarily have to be 3s. That has to be a 3. That has to be a 3. And now I'm stuck with this, which I don't understand how I got here, if my logic was sound. Because then that would be a 2x2, that would be a 2x2. That can be a 3. That can be a 3. Oh, wait. My logic was sound. Nice. I just had to do the colouring in part correctly. Turn 5 windows silver. Restoration progress 14. Gold 23. And now we have this puzzle here. That puzzle there. And this guy clearly being our kind of progress gate to what exists back there. I have no idea how much of this game there is past. Like, I can see, obviously, these and this horseshoe here, or this kidney bean, or kidney, if you prefer. And then there's this area here and to the side, and then I can clearly see like islands back there, but is that the last one or is that just the next set of them? I don't know. I'm intrigued to find out down the line, but for now, more packing puzzles. You're hiding back there. 6 and 4. Okay. So, what do we know for sure? It seems very open right now. This is a bit tighter. Okay, here we go. That can't be a group. Or like, that can't be a 4 long. That can't be a 4 long. Therefore, this could be a 4 long, but that can't be a 4 long. Therefore, I think this is a 6. And we branch out from there. That could be a 6 and a 4, but then that brings this to being a dead end. So I think this is a 6, that's a 4, that's a 4. We can go 6, 6, 4, 4 there, but not here. That would have to be a 6, that would have to be a 6. 4, 4, 6, 4, and 6. Good. So we got 4, 5, 4, 4, 7. With the 4 and the 3 there. There's a 6 there. A lot higher numbers in this section. Good grief, dude. I wish I could just pick that up and rotate it and put it down. That would make my life so much easier, wouldn't it? Right, the 3 straight piece must start there. With that off of there. Going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go those 2. This is a 4 long with 1 off the edge. And... oh god, great question. So 4 long and this. So that must be something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that goes to there. Then there's going to be 2 more of those in here somewhere. This looks like it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Then at the end of the 4 long is that. And at the top of the 4 long goes 3. Is it that? Thank God. So that was you there. Nothing hiding through these holes in the ground. Seems not. A 2 here, that shouldn't be too bad. Single pip, 3, and then could be 2 long there, or 2 long there. Except we can't make that shape then, so I think it has to be here. Then 2 and a T. And a T and 2. And colour. Paint bucket tool really coming into its own now. 5 there. We need 6 more. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other puzzles at least. Maybe 1 more that was hiding that was really high level out there somewhere. Okay. This feels like it's going to be easier than it should be, mostly because I can see an immediate start in this. Then we can't do that because that leaves a 2x2 here. So it's got to be that, which leaves that, but it doesn't because now I can't do this. So not as easy as I first immediately thought. How do we get this in? Well, come back to what we know. This must be this. That's for sure. Okay. Is that? Then here we have to come in the opposite direction. That wasn't a difficulty 5. Just that's a 3. When I was still being stumped by one of these guys over here. I can't even find the one I was being stumped by. This guy. Like. Okay. We've got 4 right here. The second law of puzzling. Whenever you find a pair of cells that cannot be connected, draw a border between them. Interesting. Right. Where do we start with this? Where's our inn? Because like there's lots of places that look like they could be inns, but then it could be that instead. This must be... Remember what it told us before? If a piece must be touching, colour it in. So all of these exterior pieces must be touching pieces further in. Now, one of these is going to have to be touching that. Don't know which yet. What's going to be touching this? Is a great question. I don't think it can be the big U shape. Therefore, I think it has to be trios, which means that's a trio, that's a trio. And now you're left two alone. So I think we must have some of these C shapes around because of the number of tiles that we have not dividing equally by 3 or 5. There's got to be some combination therein somewhere here. Second law of puzzling. Whenever you find a pair of cells that cannot be connected, draw a border between them. I don't see where I have something that cannot be connected. This becomes too big a gap to get down. If this is this, I just don't see where the clue they're anticipating me to interpret is. All of these all of these nooks must be touching their out into greater space. This one must be going even further. And it could make a 5. I mean, okay. This cell cannot touch this cell. So we can draw that in place. Does that help me? Okay. That means that this cell cannot touch that cell. That means these could be 5. That could touch that. That would be valid. So it could be a 5 or it could be a 3 and a 3. I don't know yet, but they definitely don't touch on this line. This can't be part of a 5, so it must be part of a 3. Even if it goes left or right, that must be a line. That's what it's trying to instill within me, I guess. Then what? If it goes left or if it goes right, the line above it will be fixed. I just don't know which way that's going to be yet. Okay, equally here. This can't be the C shape or the cup shape, so it has to do that. That can't be a 3 there, because then it would be too big with this. So I think that must be this. Which means that must come to there. Now we have the same situation from this, where that must be existing there at least. Which means that must come out to here. But I'm left... Hold on. I'm left with too many like odds and evens. This has to pick up another piece. So that's that. This has to pick up another piece. So that's that. Then I'm left with kind of this area that doesn't quite look right. Because this can't be a 2. That can't be that. So how does this join into some other piece of the shape? It's percolating. It's there somewhere. I just need to find the logic that gets me these pieces combined with something. I haven't used this check progress button to any kind of use case yet. It just tells you if everything you have in place is valid or not, but I don't want to just be kind of chipping away at confirming things that I might not have even gotten to the correct logical conclusion. But I don't want to undo all this because it feels okay. If this is a region, this can't be a region. Yes, how do I make a region out of all this? Alright, reset me. Back to the drawing board. Right. This cannot be a contiguous group. So this line must exist. This needs to not be a pair of 2, so it needs to be at least 3. It can't be a Tetris Z shape, so that line must exist. This could be a horseshoe. Undecided. This can't exist as part of a horseshoe, so this must come over. This must come up there, can't be part of a horseshoe in the left direction, so that line exists. It's just trying to go... If this is 3 in the corner, that's 3, that's 3, that's 3. Wait, that's it. You're a 5. That's 3, that's 3, that's 3, that's 3, that's 3. You're a C shape, you're a C shape. Okay. The rules are cooking. This can't be a 3. Therefore, this must be a 2x2. No. Because it could be this and this. But this can't be a 3, that can't be a 3. So how do they both make 2x2s? Well, that could be a 3 and that could be a 2x2. Or that can be a 2x2, that can be a 3, that can be a 3. Did one of those disambiguate something else? Probably. If this is a 3, this can't exist as anything. This can't be a 3, so this must be a 2x2. Which means this must be a 3 and this must be a 3. Which means this has to be part of a flat piece. That can go 3, 3, 2, 2. That can go 3, 2, 3, 3, 3. Okay. Where are we at on this? 3 more. 6, 5, 4, 7. Do the 4? Those are some big shapes. Right, well, this corner must have 5s and 3s, so those two must be together. We just don't know whether it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with it, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with it. If it does this, then that is a valid shape. If it does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is also a valid shape. And how do we get out? This is a 2x2. Okay, let's start on that 2x2. This can't be a wide piece, so it has to be a pair of tall pieces. So this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 across. And this has to be then... It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 across as well. But then we can't do anything in this gap. So I think that has to be this, this. Can't be this because we leave a gap there. 5 and 3 has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3. I'm reasonably confident that must be that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2. Can't be this. So I think it has to be that. Doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Could be that. Or similar. So I think we've disambiguated this left-hand section here. How do we keep moving up? Well, this can't be this because it leaves a gap. And equally, it can't be that because it leaves a gap. So I think it has to be that. That. And that. But this T-shape over here looks super incorrect, this shape here. That looks good. This looks good. But this looks very confined up here. Right, lose some of this. I'm pretty happy again with this. That must come out there. We decided that must be here. This couldn't be this T-shape because that breaks the gap. So that has to be there. If that's correct, let's figure out what this dimple is doing. Can't be that. Because how the hell do we clean up what's left over here? Yeah, this top left corner is gross. How can you fit anything into this tile? Feels like you can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Because it can't be that. This tile, this can't exist. So that I'm fine with. It's about the only thing I'm definite on. That doesn't fit there. That leaves a funny gap. So this I'm pretty happy with as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. That doesn't fit. So again, I'm pretty happy with this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it can't be that. What was I happy with earlier? Oh, it was this. I just really don't understand how we fill this piece. At all. This line here has to be a line of 5. Does it? Because this can't be a 2 across anywhere here. So this has to be a line of 5. It can't be the T shape. So it's either got to be this or this. If it's this, we can do that and that. That gets over this corner nook problem. But now I've got this corner problem, which seems just as problematic. Yeah, it seems just as problematic because now I've got this big 2x2. Hold on. He's cooking. So that's all valid. Attacking the puzzle from the other way. How did I guess I got this in place. but I couldn't see this out. But we got there. 21 of 23. What are you doing there? How did I miss you? Okay, starting in the corner, it must be 1 and its friend, and then that must be 1 and its friend, and that must be 1 and its friend. Then I think that has to be that because we can't fill in the gaps otherwise. There's a couple ways I feel like we could do that there. So where's our next disambiguation? Oh, okay, we can't do this because this can't go up for an extra piece. So if that goes up there, because if we come up here, we can't extend into this gappy space, so that's the only way you get. I keep trying to put the extra piece on the wrong side. Alright, maybe I was wrong. I was visualizing poorly. It's like an inhaler, not like a walkie-talkie. We can't do this because this space is no longer valid. I'm happy with all of this. This can't be too wide. So it must be 6 wide. Well, it must be 3 by 2 this way, not 2 by 3. 6 is obviously 3 by 2 and 2 by 3, so saying 6 is not helpful. So where can we go from here? This needs either this or this. It can't be this because the remaining piece ends up as a funny looking house. So it must be this. Must it? Can't be that, because then this shape in the corner doesn't work. I think that's got to exist there, because how else do we use this gap up? Right? Like, we know the shape is got to be that in the corner, because we can't have the odd piece sticking out somewhere else. So that also means that this must be correct in that corner. So this must be correct in the corner. That must be correct in the corner. So that's going to be to there. That can't be right because it leaves one in the center. But I can't do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can't do walkie-talkie. Has to be inhaler. So that would be that way. That would be that way. That leaves inhaler, inhaler. That would have to be... How do we do... That's inhaler. That's inhaler. I hope this analogy makes sense for all of you, because it's the only way I'm getting through this. Can't be that way. Has to be this way. So that has to go that way. That has to go that way. We got there. Figuring out the squares had to go in corners helped a lot. For sure. You know, where was that? Was that there that we missed? Still feel like I could be missing others. I do like the kind of mini little exploration game you get to play along with just doing the puzzles. I think that's way more fun and interesting than just having a grid where you just click the puzzles as you go up a board or a menu. All right, one more to do for the gold trim. So we've got 7, 5, 6. Just those 3 that I can see. Then obviously we're going to do the 5. Did we try this already and I noped out of it? I don't remember. Okay, this 3x2 section up here. How can I fill the corner? Well, I could do that, but I can't then have this long piece. It's not allowed. I can't do it that way. And I can't do that because it leaves that. So in the corner, I believe it must be that in this particular corner. Now, that leaves us options on how we fill that. Except it doesn't, because if this is a trio, this is too long to exist. If this is the trio, that's too long to exist. So that must connect under there. Now, here, we can't do... Oh, we could do a W and a 3. Or this could be a Tetris Z and a 3. Either way, I think the 3 has to exist, and I think that has to be a line there. Whether this extends out further or not, currently undecided, but I think that must exist there. So, this and this must touch. There are no 3 lines in any of this, so that must be a line that comes down. Whether this is this or this, we don't know. But it can't be the big W shape. So that's a line. And that's a line. That's a different color. How do we get to this corner for a piece to exist? It's a great question. Now, I've changed my mind. For the corner to exist, it must be one of these. And therefore, that has to be one of those. Because if we cut this to be that shape and this, then that piece gets left off at the end. So I'm pretty happy with that as well now. This set of long pieces here has the same constraints as kind of some of this, where this piece, forgive me for saying it, must be highlighted, but what is it going to be connected to? It can't be either of the 2 right-hand type pieces, so it must be one of these. Therefore, that must be at least this, but could extend over one. Then this, again, must touch some stuff. Can't be a W. Can't be the other Tetris piece. So that must exist like that. That must exist like that. Can we make sense of what we have left? Well, that must touch this. And this. Yeah, we can carve those out into 5s. Carve that out into a 3. And that finishes that last segment. Gild 5 windows. So, that is that section done. Having done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows. But these haven't been too bad. I'm going to have a drink and probably a big cough that you guys don't need to hear. And then we'll maybe try these 6 and 7s because we've been on a roll with these. So we'll see if we can keep that momentum moving. Okay. The 6. Basic shapes, which I'm not mad about. These 2 must touch. That's our starting point. If they touch like this, then that can touch like that. That would be valid. Equally, that could also be valid. So we need to find something else. Here we have 5 long, which means it must be a 3 and a 2, which means those must touch, these must touch. We just don't know what the center one's going to be yet. But we do know that that must be a line. So we have some pieces of this. Okay, well, that gives us this 5 that can't exist. So those must exist, those must exist, and we must get this line, because this is either going to be a 3x3 and a 2x2 or the inverse. This top line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 by 3 and 2 can only be 3, 3, 3, 2. Does that help me? Not really. Okay. Next thing. This is 5 wide, which means this is going to have to be 2 and 2 and a 3x3. Now, we can't have 2 of these be 3x3s. So one of them is going to be the 3x3, and then it's going to be 2x2s on both sides. But we know this line must exist, so we can't go upwards for a 3x3. Also, there's that 2 there as well that I'd kind of missed. Also, that 3 must exist like that because it can't be a 2 and a 1, must be a 3. Equally, then, those must be those like that. Now, it could be 2x2 in the corner, 2x2 here, and that 3x3 extends upwards. In fact, it must extend upwards. Because if it extends downwards, we get this nasty little line there. So that must be a 3x3. That's a 2x2. That's a 2x2. Those must exist like that. Now, this is 4, which must be 2x2. And we can't squeeze a 3x3 in there somewhere. So it's got to be this, which means that's got to be a 2x2, which means that's got to be a 2x2, that's got to be a 2x2, that's got to be a 3x3, that's got to be a 2x2. And that gets us the bottom half of the puzzle. This, as a 4, must be a 2x2. This could be 3 and a 3x3 in the corner, or the 2s could reach upwards for 2x2s both ways. But they can't go up as 2x2s and down as 2x2s. I think we're going to get this one. I don't think this one's going to be too bad. We've made solid, definite progress, I think. We said at the top, okay, we said of the top that it was 11 wide. If it's 11 wide, the only way we can count to 11 in 3s and 2s is 3, 3, 3, 2. Right? Because it can't be 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it has to be 3, 3, 3, 2. This has to be part of the 3. This doesn't help me, I think, because I was hoping it would be 3, 2, 2, 2, 2 or something. Wait, 11 could be 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. Because we get to 8 and then we have 3. Okay, scratch that. Scratch that. Let's look at these little corners. Because this must be attached to that, and this must be attached to that and that. Which means that has to be the 2x2, and this has to be the 3x3. Which means this has to be a 3x3. That was a nice little decision to look there, wasn't it? That means that's a 2x2. If that goes up, this must be a 3x3. This was a lovely puzzle. The logic on this was just great. That leaves that only possible as a 3x3. This 3x3 then must extend in this direction, and we get 2, 2, 3. Solve a difficulty 6 puzzle. 6/7 achievements for the memes, I guess. So here, 23 of 23 plus 1. We just come back here to the beginning. This first window was 9 of 9 and 10 of 10. But if there is any extras, we simply didn't find them if they were there to be found of this initial biome. We saw that one. We saw that one. Okay. If I'm missing any there, they are very, very well hidden. Shall we try 7? Now, this has so much constraint as to make me think that it shouldn't be that hard, which is dangerous. But hey, let's start with what we know. The 2s must go in like that. This can't exist like this because that would be too long. So either it's this and this, or it's this and this. And then I could keep working that out all the way through the puzzle, but that does not give us any amount of logic to work out of there. This turns right. That leaves us with that. If it turns left, we can still do that. So those must touch, those must... Okay, let's do... That must go that way, that must go to there. Those must touch, those must touch, those must touch, those must touch. We know all of that to be true. Where's the logic? I was just kind of spacing out and going, okay, if this is an L, then that's an L, then that's an L, then that's an L, then that's an L, and that's not an L. There's going to be... I mean, we've been presented shape banks, shapes that we've not used before. Well, this can't go left because this can't be that shape. So that must go right. Now, over here, we could have L and T, or we could have L and L. So that doesn't help me. What about over here? Well, that's... It sounds so silly when I say it, but that's got to be coloured, and it's got to connect to something. It can't be a T-shape, so it's either the end of an L or this. This can't be for long. So this can't be a T-shape because that can't be for long. So this is not a T-shape. It either goes up or down. But when it does so, this line exists. Which tells me that here is not a T. Just deducing that this line must exist feels quite important. So once again, this must be coloured and go somewhere. This can go up, that goes round, that goes round. This is too long to be one piece. Therefore, these two pieces are going to have to meet somewhere. Because if this goes up, this can't be all of that. Therefore, this must be at least that. So it could be an L that goes down, or a T. But that must be of this colour. Which means this can't come down twice. So this must go up once. I don't know if this goes up twice yet, but it must go up at least once. These are the individual logic steps that we are working with here. This pair of two must extend out to a third. This must be a line then, because it can't be a 4 straight line. That means that must be long, and that must be long. Now, whether they go up or down or not, uncertain, but they must exist like that. That means that here, because we've decided that L does exist there, this must be coloured. I don't know why my brain thinks of that being something that must be announced each time. But there are going to be no T-shapes here. Apart from this could be a T-shape. This can't be a T-shape. So this could go up or down. This could go down and across. That could be a T. That could go up. That could go up. But that's not logic. That's just me slowly passing the options. This could be a T. Now, I can't exactly remember how we got to it, but I decided that these three must be coloured, and we just didn't decide whether this was going to come down and this be a T or if this is going to go up. But if these are definitely coloured as a group, it means that those three are coloured as a corner. We just don't know what's progressing up or down to where. Okay. Now what? We can solve this puzzle. We can solve this puzzle. I just can't keep every piece of logic I've used to get to this state. And I wish I could, like, save this. Because I believe this to be correct. But then if I get, like, wrong things later and I want to reset to this state, not some other state. You know? So that could come down, that could be a T, that could go up. That could go... Okay, this can't go up. Because if this goes up, that's too long. Hold on. Hold on. If this were to be that can't be a 4-long shape. But that can't be the shape, because that can't be a 4-long shape. Okay, I've made a mistake somewhere, or have interpreted something incorrectly, and we need to see if we can work around to a fix. So that can't do that, because that can't come down. Was I even correct at all? Here I was talking about wanting to come back to this exact state, when in fact this state might not have been correct. Wait. That would be valid. No, it wouldn't, because this is too long. Oh, no! Right, so... let's get back to this. Because I'm still happy with this L, because if that turns around, I can't have a 4-long there. That's fine. Well, if I can't have a 4-long here, that could be a T. That's got to be a chevron. That could come out, that could go down. Or that could be a T. Either way, this has to be here. Alright, so ignoring that long line that I put in the center that may have been erroneous, what are we doing in this corner? To reach the corner, I think it has to be that. I don't think there's any other way we can reach this corner in a valid shape. Yeah, that's correct. This corner can only be coloured in a valid shape with this shape. That's not true at all. No, because, yeah, this can't exist because that's too long. So I think this is correct. In fact, I know that's correct. That can't leave a 4 long gap there. Okay. Well, it's different progress to the progress I thought I was making earlier, but it seems to be more correct progress this time. What next? Okay. This must be coloured. And it can't be a T-shape. So it's got to be an L shape. How far that extends, we don't know. Could be up to here. No, this presents the same kind of query. This L, well, how does this piece get coloured in? It doesn't join this piece, and it doesn't join that piece. So this must be shaped this way. And if this is shaped this way and that's shaped that way, then one of them must extend up or down, and this must make a T shape. It's just about whether this T shape goes up or down. That's got to be correct. So this is going to make a T shape up or down. And if it goes up, then this gets longer up, that gets longer left. If it goes down, this gets longer down, that gets longer left. Let's think about other things then. This corner can't be 4 long. So that corner must exist like this. This shape can go up 1 or down 1. This can go right 1 or up 1. If this goes this way, I can fill in the negative space like that. If it goes this way, I can fill in the negative space like that. So I can't disambiguate that yet, really. This must touch that. And it's not turning right, although it could make a T shape if this comes down. Where's our next bit of logic? It's out there somewhere. This must colour that, because it can't just end here. So it's either going to gain this or this. Gosh, just looking at how many spaces now can be like L's or T's just makes the construction of this puzzle look so elegant. This is going to go up or down. I'm having second thoughts about whether this could have ever have gone left. I can't remember how I decided that this went right at the beginning. Oh, because if it went left, then this L would make a negative space. That's fine. Okay. Don't worry about your past decisions. Worry about your next one. Love the music. Music's great. Like, if I just start colouring in now and then find out that I'm wrong when I get to 90% done, I'm just going to regret randomly colouring without following the logic. Where's the logic? This can either come down, that becomes down, that comes across. Okay, let's talk about this tile. This tile can't be this shape. Can't be this shape. So this tile and that line must exist. Which means this tile must go up and must go up again. And we can't make a T shape, so that must go there. And we get that, I believe. Now, I'm unconvinced of this because now I have this space that's 4 long that exists, which can't exist. One, two, three, 4. Oh, wait. This could be a T. Like that. Well, okay. But then, no. Hold on. If it's long, or if it's T, then this still exists and leaves that gap. So I think that might disambiguate to this. Now, was that the actual logic of the solution? I don't know. Let's just hope that this is now on the right track. Now, this could be a T and another T. This must connect to that. Sure. If it goes up 2, you go across 2. If this goes up 2, then I can't have an L here and that one space there. So I think that has to be a T. Which means that has to be a T. Which means that has to be an L. Which means that has to be an L. That has to be an L. That's an L. That's an L. That's a T. That's an L. Yes! We got there. Whether or not it was perfect logic or not, I'm not sure if I kind of figured it out down here or mishmashed it to figure it out down there. But we did. And so this is now 23 of 23 plus 2. Do I see any motes of light suggesting I missed a puzzle hiding somewhere? This is just sunbeams riding through there. I think that is that entire section. So, join me next time. We will do this puzzle here that's waiting for us and see what is to be found beyond for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.